This is Jonathan St. James, and you're listening to The Truth is Still Straight podcast.
All right, folks. I just want to thank you for tuning in. This is Jonathan St. James, and this is What The Truth is Still Straight podcast. Thank you. First of all, I will be the only one on deck this evening. No Jim, no LaDonna Marie, no Dawn M. Kane, or Donnie St. James. How about that? Tell them how you feel, audience, for sure. Hopefully everyone's all right. And hopefully you're listening or watching in good spirits. Before I start the show, I just want to give a shout out to all those who are loyal listeners or watchers, depending on what you do. First shout out goes to Pedro Falcone, who's definitely our top supporter, along with Milton Gonzalez, Tatiana Cruz, Lee, V, and Sister Millie, who's one of our new, but not for a lack of energy, supporter out on the West Coast. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Send me drop me a line at jsaintjamesent@gmail.com. Once again, that's the letter J, STJEAMESENT@gmail.com. All right, folks, I'm not gonna waste a lot of time. I'm gonna get into this video today. And what I want to talk about in this video is Kevin Samuels' reaction. And the reaction is to a video called, he was in Miami and there was a 7-part series to it. And this is the 7-part. He divided it up. It's really, I want to get into the discussion about the video in terms of relationships. The title of the video is Why Do Modern Women Want It All? It was a smaller version of a bigger video that he cut up into different parts. So I just want to get into that, and then I'll react to that, and we can keep it moving from there. Let me just change the screen to get where we need to go to, and we'll start that going right now. Okay. Very nice production.
I'm not gonna put up with that. You gotta do this, such and so forth. All right, bring the next one in. You're outnumbered. That 125,000 is a real number. So if you wanna live in the lifestyle you talk about you want to, your pool of men is shallow.
But that's why I know we disagree on the definition of middle class. That's why I said from middle class to high class, because I am aware of that. Mm-hmm. Where men who are in that top 10%, it's a lot harder to get them to be faithful and loyal to you because they are so wanted by so many women. Mm-hmm. And also when men have that status, it takes a lot longer for them to choose to be loyal to you versus everybody else, simply because they don't know what your intentions are for them. They don't know, is she with me for me genuinely or with me because of the benefits I provide? Whereas more of a middle lower class man, they know that you love them for them because they don't have those things that they think that you want back.
Well, let me stop there. I don't generally disagree with what she said in terms of men who have money versus men who don't have money. But the truth of the matter is, well, you know, a secure person is a secure person, and maybe they'll definitely be, I can see a level of men who have money may be assuming that women are into them because of money, or may get into relationships solely based on that. I know if I was a person that had a lot of money and I met women, I would probably be under the impression that it was about my money. And depending on what I was looking for, I wouldn't really matter. It wouldn't really matter to me because if I'm just looking for companionship, temporary, maybe them being into my money doesn't matter. I think it becomes a big issue when a man is looking to get married. If a man is looking to get married, then that's definitely going to be an issue because then the trust comes into play. But if you're looking no harm, no foul, just to have a good time, enjoying someone's company, if they're into you for money or not a big deal. Sometimes men do work out deals. I know men who make lots of money and they're looking for companionship, and they're under the understanding that depending on their circumstance, whether it's age or stuff like that, that they're going to work out a deal and they're probably going to be taking care of somebody, not expecting too much from the person other than what they're asking for up front. So it really depends on the circumstance and what the person's looking for. Now, the thing with younger people, not younger people, people with less money, excuse me, people who have less money, the thing with that is when a person has less money, it's not necessarily that you can judge someone and say, well, they're with me, they really love me because I don't have anything. That person may not have anything anyway. Now, if a person has money, if you meet a woman and you don't have as much money as she does, and she is with you, I could see where you'd be like, oh yeah. But if the person has less than you, it may not be a question of they love me for me. They just may not have been able to find better at that time yet. So I can see the point in what she's saying. I don't want to totally disagree with her and argue with her just to argue, but it depends on the mentality of a person. And if I'm in that situation, I'm going to try to see if the person really has honest feelings about me over time and not necessarily assume either way, because that's the nature of the society we live in. You know, people are always trying to get that bag. They're trying to improve themselves, and sometimes in nefarious ways. But if that's the case, well, you know.
How dare you?
All right, let's keep it rolling. Let's see what else she's saying on here with Kevin Samuels.
And where you can only, like, some women will settle for that.
But would you? So you'd be all right dating him? You'd be all right marrying a man who made, the average black man in this country makes $41,500.
No, I'm not okay with that. I told you earlier.
Okay, so that's why we even talking about all that. Women will talk about men like that, and that ain't the kind of man you would deal with. So it doesn't matter.
I feel like 70,000 is ridiculous or hard to
I don't.
attain.
Okay, it doesn't matter. But 15% of men earn that amount of money. 15.
Okay.
So still, whether you're in the top 10 or 15%, a man knows if he is a higher earner. And see, that's the thing, because I don't know what you do for a living, but most men at your age don't earn that kind of money.
Facts.
But that's not the point. My point is, men have a more accurate representation of our actual sexual marketplace value.
That is fact. Let me stop it there. And I always want to talk about that. I seem to always skirt over that in these videos. And that's the truth. Well, mostly. I don't want to say always, but mostly the average guy kind of has an understanding of where they stand in society, what type of women they'll attract. And although you do have some men, I won't say they have an unrealistic value of themselves, but a lot of times when women are interested in them, they have a exorbitant view of who they should be accepting versus who they shouldn't. Now, I know a specific person who he wants to fight above his weight class when it comes to women. But the problem with that is he's just not in any shape to be extremely judgmental, but it happens. You know, he's like, oh, she's this, or she has a lot of kids, and, you know, she's older, you know, things like that. But truth of the matter is, what are you offering as a mate? In the same way women come around here and they ask for things from men that they can't really offer on the opposite side of the table, it's the same thing with men. You know, if you're not a fairly or worldly attractive man, you can't sit up here expecting you're going to get a perfect woman or as close to perfect woman under the circumstances. You got to give and take. You got to look in the mirror and be realistic at what you see. And that's the one thing that I've always tried to do. Have I been attracted to a very attractive women in my past? Of course. You try and you fail sometimes, but the reality of the try and fail is when you fail, you understood this was the possibility of it happening. You also have the possibility that the person is going to short term be interested in you because you're only what's available. And then when something more advantageous to them comes around, they're going to go after that. That's a possibility. So just want to talk about that. Oh,
estimation because of the amount of men you can deal with. I only judge based on the men who are trying to marry you. That's what you know where you really rank. What kind of men are trying to wife you? Coming with ring and intention. So all this other stuff is just philosophical. So
I agree.
when you're talking about these men up here are less likely to be loyal, the kind of men you're talking about are in that area too. But as far as we talked about loyal, cheating. When asked, 28% of Black men in married or committed relationships have admitted to cheating. What percentage of Black women have admitted to cheating in the same scenario? What do you think?
I would assume less, maybe 20%.
Oh, hell no!
I just wanted to stop it there because I actually know the answer. I've seen the video and I've seen this. He's talked about this in the past. The notion of cheating is very interesting. And I just wanted to stop there. And I'm going to continue it right away. I don't want to hold it too long. But the notion of cheating is very interesting because I find when he talks about the number of women, I actually believe that number is higher because I believe some women are very cautious in being honest about what they're doing. And in terms of cheating and women that I specifically knew that was cheating, they've often denied cheating even when they were. Even when they got caught, they didn't confess to cheating. So that's why I think women, I mean, men clearly, but I think men, when they get across people who they don't really think can have any effect on what they say, men will be open to being honest about things that they do versus women. Women have a hard time. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if the point of a necessity for validation is what it is. But a lot of times women tend to hide true things about themselves when it's negative. You know, I can, I have women friends or women that I know that they could be doing the wrong, like totally wrong things and see no wrong in what they're doing. I'll give you a perfect example. I know this woman, I won't reveal her name on the show. I don't know if she listens. So in case she listens. So here's the deal with her. So she's, not from this country. She is in a double relationship. The person that she's calls her husband, for those of you from the Dominican culture, you know what this is about. They call themselves husband and wives, but they're not really married. So her husband not lives, but he's currently in Dominican Republic. And she's here in United States, New York. And then she has a boyfriend here in New York. Now, the funny part about that is she lives in the home with her Dominican husband's mother and then doesn't really see what she's doing as cheating, but hasn't told the man in Dominican Republic that she's with a guy here. So that's kind of the point that I'm trying to bring up there in terms of like being honest about cheating and stuff like that. And I have another friend, for lack of a better word, friend, but someone that I know, and I know that she was in the same situation. The only difference was she ultimately married the Dominican husband, but she's cheating on the husband with another guy, a full outright relationship, but has not admitted that it was cheating at all. So that's the point that I'm trying to make there. Very interesting dynamic, when we talk about people and full disclosure. So I'll continue the video from there.
20%. I'm going to assume less.
What do you think? What number, approximately?
10% admit to cheating.
I would say 40% or more.
She's like the other group. 24%. So 28% of Black men have admitted to cheating versus 24% of women. That's not a huge difference.
No.
So why do women complain so much about loyalty when y'all are cheating?
Cheating.
Cheating. But
Yeah.
who files for divorce? And when relationships end, who's walking away with the kids and the money? Would you want to, in today's dating environment, Would you want to be a man or a woman when it comes to the breakup?
A woman
Why?
got the advantages.
Ah. So but is that the way you look at it? So you're really privileged. Women are very privileged today. But the way most time it gets talked about is that it's so hazardous. So I think it's been.
Yeah, I wanted to stop there. I was thinking about that. I was watching some videos on Instagram, and they were, talking about men and women, and you don't really think about the disadvantages that men have in dating. So it's interesting that he brings that up. I'll talk about this later. I'll let the video continue, and I'll comment in a couple of minutes about that.
A good conversation, hopefully eye-opening. Do you have any questions?
I could talk all day about it.
Oh yeah, I actually may go live in a minute. What about you? I think your situation is okay. I think your situation is fascinating because you say you want to be. I don't sense that you want to be by yourself. I just think it's your winning rules.
I told you I want to be in a relationship, but say like I'm very picky because I understand that, and one, like how you mentioned, does race matter? There's a lot of things that matter with me. Obviously, I'm weird. I like cats and I like anime. I'm very picky about men, anyways. So knowing the statistics and everything, I know more likely than anything, I'll most likely end up alone. So because of that, I would rather be able to support myself.
Okay.
Do I want to find my dream guy? Absolutely.
But do you know what it? Now this is where it gets hard. You're 26.
Mm-hmm.
There are women who would tell you that they wish they were your age so they could make different choices.
And I agree with that. I have and I will definitely call this woman a friend. She's almost 50 years old, and she definitely looks at that and spent so much of her youth just avoiding happiness and finding things wrong with men that sort of delayed what they call that arrested development when it comes to relationships. And then now she's close to 50. The reality is that she will probably most likely not get married, but almost definitely not have children. And the thought of a family lineage dying with her and also her sister, her sibling, because I believe it's only two of them, and it's only in their family, it's the two parents, and I'm not sure if her father's still alive or not, but there's no one else to carry the line on that branch of the tree. And I know she just regrets squandering a lot of time. And I think so many people do that. And a lot of women do it too. They sort of live off the attention that men give them, whether sexual, non-sexual, and then they think they have forever. And then they turn around and they're at this stage in their life where it's very difficult to find quality men. And I don't mean in a ridiculous and outrageous way of quality, but just men who are suitable for relationships. Because yes, I do believe women in their youth, they choose outrageous qualities in men. They end up regretting it as they mature. And then by the time they realize what they should have been going for, it's a lot harder to get, because the only men that are willing to put up with games that women play, I told you, are the ones that are just looking to get over on them. So yeah, no, it's those people who are about something. They're just not going to just allow themselves to be put through the ringer to get into a relationship. Why? If you can find someone suitable and you know that you have the qualities and characteristics of a person or a man to get in a relationship, why not just go find someone else? That's what I would do. If I met a woman today and I met her and I liked her and I was interested in her, and she just didn't want to give me the time of day, I wouldn't spend any more time on that, back and forth, trying to win her over, stuff like that. No way. I'll move on to the next person. There was a time that I would try to win someone over, but those are usually women, or girls rather, because I wasn't that old back then, that if you were single and they were single, well, not in a relationship, that you had the ability to try to win them over in a fair way, not like now, but back then in a fair way. So I just wanted to talk about that.
My whole tagline, buy a dog and die alone. Women are dying alone these days.
It's facts.
And especially in Japan and Korea, Kotokoshi, people are being found dead. Well, so would it be, is it that you can't find somebody that you like, or do you think you'd be just too difficult to get along with?
I think it's a mixture of both.
But what can you control?
Herself.
I can control how I react.
Right. I mean, are human beings different today? I mean, are we more nuanced? Or are we pretty much the same animal we've always been?
I would say, you know what? Let's see what he says.
Finding someone that can tolerate me and get along with me.
Do you have a lot of
Like I
patience?
said, no.
There you go.
Like I said,
Ding, 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 ding.
choice.
Impatient.
To be happy with someone.
And the thing is, that's the problem. If you're supposed to be the empathetic ones, the nurturing ones, the patient ones, how the hell are you supposed to get anywhere if you're not patient?
Yeah, and that's a huge debate. I just want to stop it there. And the reason why a lot of men are running away is because the connection between men and women is like this. So I don't know if you heard what she said, and she basically said that she's hard to handle. And I agree with Kevin on this. The problem is men haven't changed mostly in the aspect of their perception of relationships. What has changed is women's expectations, and society has dictated that women should change. And you'll listen to a lot of these shows that talk about relationships. Women say, well, because relationship is probably not going to work out, so I have to position myself in a situation where if it doesn't work out, I'll be able to take care of myself and so forth. And, you know, the interesting thing is, I remember I once had a girlfriend a long time ago. And I remember she got upset with me because she wanted to be an actress. And then I asked her, I said, well, what do you do if acting doesn't work? And she blasted my head off. Like I was wrong. I was supportive, but it was a real question. Hold on, I need a drink. But it was a valid question. You know, I wasn't trying to say, oh, you're not going to make it, or you are, but I wanted to know what she was looking to do if she didn't. And lo and behold, she didn't make it, and she had to find something else to do. So, okay.
But
Typically, I'm not patient. I've learned patience from a situation, but now.
here's the uncomfortable reality. There are more women on the planet than men.
Facts.
And every day I'm on a show, I talk to women who are 8s, 9s, and 10s, pretty beautiful and gorgeous, who are chronically single and miserable. Because you still have options. You guys have options at this age. The options at 30 drop by about half. At 40, they drop by roughly around 20%. After 50, it's pretty much game over.
Wow.
I had a 45-year-old virgin on my show the other day. So ultimately, I get what you're saying, but whatever goes around, you got to be able to get along with somebody.
Facts.
Another problem is the social setting that you're surrounded with too, and how you're going to find the type of person you want is depending on your social setting. I'm not going to find the type of person I want in the state of Florida.
Well, see,
I gotta get out of here.
well, that brings us to my next question. Are women lazy when it comes to mate selection?
I would say yes.
She said yes.
What do you think?
I would say yes.
No?
I'm not lazy when it comes to mate selection.
I got unlazy recently.
Two said yes.
If you,
I think one said no.
Like in general, yeah.
well, I mean,
I was gonna wait for the right guy to come find her.
And I'm going to say yes. And here's why I say women are definitely lazy when it comes to dating, because they want men to be all these things and do all the work. And this is what I always say in all these episodes. I say, if you want a man to pursue you, the first thing you have to do is make yourself available to be pursued. And in this current setting that we have, if you're not swiping right and the person is agreeing to swipe back on you, there is a very limited perception of women being available for relationships. And I can tell you because I see it every day. I watch people, I know people, and the dynamics in dating is just so difficult. If you're not online kicking it to somebody, trying to date someone in a DM, it's very hard in social settings for men to know that women are available. And once again, I'm going to rewind it back to what I said earlier in regards to in regards to when I talked about dating. Again, when a man is about something, he's not going to tolerate any foolishness, any games being played. The only person that will do that is going to be one of these guys. Predators. Predators will certainly jump through the hoops for a woman. So if you're looking for a quality guy, you're going to have to figure out how to interact with him so he can take notice of you, that you're available, and that he won't waste his time with you. And in that case, I drop clues bombs.
You know,
So when was the last time
you're ready to
you?
have a mate and you're setting your intentions. You should be out there.
So when was the last time you stepped to the kind of man you were interested in?
When's the last time? What?
When's the last time you stepped to the kind of man you were interested in and dropped your proverbial handkerchief?
Slid in his DM.
I did.
See what I said? See what I said?
I do that all the time. I always take the lead. I always take
Okay.
the initiative and lead. If I want it, I'm gonna go there. That's
Okay.
just me.
But, and that's one thing about online or in person?
Given my situation, I was on ECMO monitor for a long time. I just got out of prison, so
Okay.
it was online, but then in person. But yeah, and then
I smell
I
cat.
even flew out to LA, slid in someone's DM.
Yeah, so again, and I'm going to tell you, see, this is when we're going to get back to what I'm saying. She said online, then in person. Very few, and I'm going to tell you, very few women will look for quality guys that are not worldly quality guys, because the one she's probably talking about is some kind of baller, a celebrity type, somebody with a lot of money, clout, things like that. We're talking about hardworking, average men that most women do not see, do not even notice if they don't need to interact with them. And that's what I'm really referring to, because most women will not be able to find a Russell Wilson or, somebody of that status, but they're interested in that kind of person. So in a general scheme of things, when you're in a social setting and you're single and you hope for a relationship that's quality, meaningful, you got to get the ball rolling. You can't have these guys out here being mind readers and, she okay to approach. And then he does approach you and you're not approachable. So let's continue.
So I
But-
would definitely take initiative.
The thing is, online is not real. You got to do it
No.
in person.
Facts.
And this is where Becky and them, the white girls with their hair flipping and flirting and so forth, because being feminine.
I know I tend to interrupt too fast, but I wanted to think about something that he just said there, that online is not real. And the funny thing is, somebody, I don't know what video I was watching, and they talked about how we're in this matrix world now when it comes to relationships, that people have whole relationships on the internet. They're not real relationships. And if you watch a show like Catfish, for example, these people, like, we dated 5 years. 5 years where? Online. You have people who have whole relationships online, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Never went on one date, never went on one vacation or anything like that. So where are we living? We are definitely living in the matrix.
And an assertive and aggressive in a feminine way is going to be important, because, like you said, the kind of men you would be interested in
I agree.
are looking to see who's genuine. And women who actually show interest. Men like women who like them.
Facts. Hold on.
So, I think it's interesting that when you ask most women about going to be a go-getter, get what they want as far as job, I'm gonna get my education, I'm gonna get my career, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. About a husband, he'll find me.
I was like that. I'm like, I'm gonna go find me a man.
Well, Miami ain't the place to find
And
nothing.
that's why I said I gotta get up out here. And because there's a lot of online and long distance stuff, and it's just not like a lot of interactions are better in person. And I've tried so much to take initiative to people that are outside of here, and just the long distance, it makes a difference.
You're from here, right?
When do you actually have time to
They're in
socialize,
Miami
like,
again.
have to find the person, because you're either working or whatever, and maybe the person is not in your work field, so it's not as definitely. You don't find time to go.
Well, that's the problem.
You do go social. You're with your girlfriends. I don't know.
And that's right there. See, you have to. First thing I tell women to do is get rid of your single girlfriends.
I agree.
Because single women keep women single.
They do.
You have to find time to get out there and make yourself available to the kind of man you want, or else they'll find somebody else. They're gonna find somebody else.
And that's what I noticed about high value men. They're not looking, like they don't actively seek. Like whenever I find a high value man, 9 times out of 10, I was in the right environment and I approached them. High value men, they don't approach women. Like I feel like
Because they're not
the men
interested
that are
in
constantly
you.
approaching
That's
women
why.
every day, they are the low lives of the men.
When you say high value men, what do you mean?
Like someone who it's the typical ideal man that a woman would want, and they know that. They know they're handsome, they know they're financially stable, they know that they are able to be committed and loyal and to care for a woman that they think.
How do you know that when you first see them?
You can tell by the way they carry themselves, you can tell by what they wear.
You know their character?
You can get an idea of someone from the energy that they give off.
I don't think.
I can't.
Well,
Oh, she's a psychic.
I tell you, I made that mistake.
I'm an
those guys.
now this is where as an image consultant, person who reads people for a living, you're making an educated guess. But
Come on,
a high value man, but they tend to be wrong because it runs through your confirmation bias. A high value man, the way I define it, is a man who's earning a certain amount of money, 6 figures or more, because so $10,000 a month or more, Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, because you can't be high value and homeless. I mean, it sounds nice, but that ain't real.
High
You
value.
have to have
homeless.
made their money for about 3 to 5 years, so there's some consistency.
Not interested.
Other high value men see him as a peer or a potential peer. He has a network of high value men and other people. He has a life that's kind of linked in or level visibility. He's not just an entrepreneur. He actually has something you can point to. It's not, a VP of Mergers and Acquisition at Goldman Sachs. And then he's useful to others and the group. And men like that, because I've been talking about this high value men thing for the better part of 2 years. Men like that actively seek women. So when you say those kind of men don't, I think you may be conflating it with a high earning man. But high value men are looking for their counterpart because.
Or they're just not it. They may see high value men and the high value men may not be interested in them. Because high value men, they tend to believe.
Look, man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
So if they're that, they're definitely not interested.
These men know that there is a ceiling in corporate America. There's a marriage cap on a lot of these things, and they're actively looking because they don't want to be out here doing this and doing that, doing this because they got other shit to do. They're trying to get on down the path.
Excuse the cursing.
Well, let me say a couple of things. And I have a group with 1,000 people in it that I've handpicked.
The mix.
In that group, there have been 9 couples that gotten together and 4 marriages in less than a year. And I'm not a matchmaker. So these things happen. I think one thing about these kind of men, you don't see them walking around there, and they're at the, at certain clubs. They're at the cigar lounge. They're at the bar at Ruth Chris. They're not socializing and doing a lot of stuff that most folks would do. So what are you going to clarify?
What I meant was that they're not thirsty.
Mm.
Like when I say
Okay.
men, I mean they're actively seeking a lot of women, like
Sliding
a lot, like every girl,
Yeah.
like they're not.
So, all right. But yeah, so why, Yeah, that didn't make sense what she said there, because now she was trying to change her comment from what high value men are. Of course, high value men are not thirsty. And that was my point earlier, even not just with high value men, with just quality men in general, that if you, a quality man, forget about high value, a quality man in general is not going to be chasing you down because they know they have quality to find someone, maybe not you, maybe not the woman next to you, but they know they can find someone. And if they have qualities of being in a meaningful relationship, they're just going to look for that person that's going to be interested in the quality relationship. That's just the dynamic of it. That's like myself. If I meet a woman, and I've met plenty of women in my life, and I'm like, oh, you're not interested? You're not interested. I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to chase after you. I'm not going to convince you after you said not interested. I'm just going to go, okay, thank you. All right, sorry to hear that. And move on and let you deal with what you have to deal with, and don't come back later, which is happens a lot. Women make some bad choices in relationships, then they won't go back to the good one that they should have made. But no, thank you. Like CC Peniston used to say, keep on walking. I'm not talking to you anymore. Back to the video.
Picky. It's, oh, she's kind of cute, that's enough for me. So when I say that, I mean they're particular. They're not actually always looking for someone.
Well, I was saying in Miami is a different world too, because here, a lot of guys are just, I've seen more fake watches and more rental cars this week. Well, the thing is, I'm going to be here often because I live in Atlanta, and I do this around the country, LA, Beverly Hills. And one thing is consistent. If you watch my content, I talked to men for years. What made me popular is I started talking to women about the very things the men who are my clients say they want from women. Because these men are actively looking for their feminine, beautiful, inspirational woman. I think that's been the biggest twist. Now the disconnect is, how do you get around the kind of man you want, and how do you effectively shoot your shot without looking thirsty, without looking try hard or whatever.
Try hard, I like that.
And one of the things I hope this do is change the temperament and how we approach one another, so it's not so suspect.
That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying.
This shit should be happy. It shouldn't be a burden. Like, God damn, I'm single. All right, well, that was dope. Ladies, I appreciate you guys coming out. More to come. Your godfather is signing off. I'll come up with a catchy outro, catchy tune.
And that's pretty much it for the video. I agree with him. You know, we have to get back to traditional ways of meeting people, being available, allowing people to know that you're available, and keep it moving from there. We got to get there. So it's about that time. Relationship races, bringing hearts together, one heart at a time. No Jim, LaDonna Marie, Dawn M. Kane, or Donnie. So Jonathan, you must offer some words of wisdom to those who are listening that want to find love. Jonathan. Oh, that's me. Okay. Yeah, well, you know, I don't really have much to say other than what I've been saying this whole video. Gotta be available. Relationship-wise, you have to show that you're available and engage in men. And men, you have to engage in the women. And if you find that you try to engage and it doesn't work, move on. But women, you'll find yourself highly more successful if you are available to these men. When you're available to these men and they know that you're available, they will definitely they will get in. They will get in on the ground floor, but you got to help them out. It can't be they're doing everything and you're doing nothing, because no man, no real quality man wants to waste his time. And those are my braces. All right, folks. So that's pretty much it for now. I just want to thank you all for tuning in. I tried to get in, get out. Hopefully that wasn't too painful for those of you who are listening and watching, depending on what you're doing. This is Jonathan St. James. And I want to thank you again for supporting. I look forward for hearing from you or you tuning in once again. Farewell all.